Hello, Dika here. Today I'll share what I think is the better way to give presentation. Let's go. Have you finished reading? Actually, you don't need to read the text on the slide at all. Just remember that this is a common look of slideshow of many presentations. I'll take you through step-by-step guide on how to improve your PowerPoint slideshows. I know how it feels. You have to read those words while at the same time listen to the explanation from the presenter. Sound familiar? On the other side, the presenter reads across the dense material on the slide, so he cannot focus his eyes to the audience. Students, presentation today, in classroom, in conference, at business meeting, at a seminar, or whatever, are often more boring than it is supposed to be because of how deadly it can be. People call this death by PowerPoint. If you are the presenter, you hope your audience will watch you excitedly and attentively. But what happens is they feel sleepy, or play with their phone, or keep looking at the clock, wishing the presentation to end soon. Sounds familiar? Through the upcoming slides, you will see how to fix those slideshows so you can give presentations more effectively and excitingly. And more importantly, you will not send your audience to sleep. You read it right. Many people start the presentation right onto the computer. They start by copying the material and the picture and cramming them onto the slide. This is like a movie actor who starts acting before understanding and practicing the script. The better way is put away your PowerPoint slideshows. Put it away. Put away your PowerPoint before you search for pictures, before you put this bullet into your slide, even before you turn your computer on. Study the material. Practice telling it to your friends like telling a story. You can tell stories without PowerPoint, right? So start with paper and pen. I know it looks primitive, but if you can tell the material without PowerPoint, then you don't need PowerPoint. Steve Jobs, the person who is famous for his outstanding sales presentations, say, "People who know what they're talking about don't need PowerPoint." That means you have to master your material first and then create the slideshows from what is already in your brain. So if the slideshow doesn't show up, if your computer doesn't work, if the electricity fails, you don't care because everything is already in your brain. The most common mistake presenters make is they put all the text on the slide and reading it aloud for the audience because they don't practice. So what happened if the software failed? They got stuck and speechless. Tip number 2. Let them read. 1 plus 1 equals 0. What do I mean? Let me explain. You show the slideshow full of text to the audience. The audience tries to read the text, but they got distracted because you keep reading aloud the text on the screen for them. This happens because you think 1 plus 1 equals 2. Because you think if you show the slide or the visual, plus you read the text aloud, which is the verbal, equals double input for the audience and they will understand better. But what actually happened, in fact, is they cannot concentrate on the screen because you keep talking, and they cannot concentrate listening to you because they have to read the text, which means 1 plus 1 equals 0. Therefore, create a simple slideshow, a simple one that the audience can read in no more than 5 seconds. Only after they finish reading it, when the attention is already all for you, then you can start explaining. Tip number 3. Less is more. What do I mean? Presenters often think that they need to tell as many information to the audience as possible. As the result, they put as many points of data as possible on one slide, sometimes too many, more than what the audience brain can handle. The audience will feel overwhelmed because it's too much for their brain. As the result, they couldn't comprehend the content of the presentation. They will miss a lot of important information from the presentation, which is bad. Let me give you an analogy. Just like a Swiss Army knife, if you pull out the blade one by one, pull out the scissors, or the screwdriver, or the knife, then it's gonna be a very useful and versatile equipment. But if you pull out all the tools, like in the picture, it's gonna be almost useless thing. You cannot use it for cutting or opening a bottle. The same happened to your presentation. If you put too much information on one slide, then the slide will be very difficult to understand. It doesn't help the presenter. It doesn't help the audience either. I give you another example of what I mean by less is more. Compare those two slides. Both are given by famous persons. Both are selling their product. Which one is nicer and easier to understand? Which one is too much information? You know the answer. Now, let's move on to the next tip. Tip number 4. Picture. Why kindergarten students can draw before they can write? Why are there more Instagram accounts than Twitter? Why do you say, I remember his face but not his name? Why Tinder is so popular? The answer is because we love pictures. So, whenever you can put picture, put it. Whenever you can delete some words without reducing the meaning, delete the words. To help you understand what I mean, I'll give you examples of some not very effective slideshows and the better versions of the slides. Enjoy. This is example number 1. Look at the image about the number of bikes sold. Compare that to this. Exactly the same information. But isn't it simpler and cleaner? The second example. Number of new members per year, and compare it to this one. Exactly the same information, but notice that the slide highlights the fact about nearly 100 new members in 2012. The third example about part-time workers, and this is, I think, the better improvement of that slide. This is the last example. See how overwhelming the list of bullets that the presenter put on the slide. And the slide is much better now. Alright, this is the end of what I can share today. You can see the assignment on the description. The due date is next week. Good luck, students.